Hey everybody, Dr. Gigglez here, and we are going to be reviewing 13th World FRIGHT Park in Palmer, Massachusetts. We are going to be reviewing their XSCREAM event that they did last Friday on November 3rd, and we're going to break it down. And we're going to go over a bunch of stuff. So let's just dive in. So everybody knows that I used to work there. I worked there last year. I acted. I was the staff manager and all that. And I was kind of, helping them build, now and then, helping them do things. And so I just wanted to get that out in the open. Now, this was the experience that I had. So in case yours was a little different, it's possible because nobody really has the same experience. Anyway, so my son Jeremy and John, they work at Cumberland and they were working. They had some people from Cumberland go up there and work. So we all drove up together and I just hung out while they acted. So before we could go in, the Midway opens before the main attraction, the trail. And I hadn't seen anything at all. Like I just remember it from last year. I had, between music and everything, I was so busy I didn't have time to check it out, but I made sure I got there. And first of all, I got to say they rearranged the whole Midway and I really loved it. They had the Chamber of Lost Souls, the fog room, and this year it's called Hellfire House, and it looks like a house. And I love that they had these TV screens to make it look like the inside was on fire, fog coming out. It looked like a house, and it was great what they did. Then they had an Alone. Now, if you remember when I talked about Alone last year, Alone this time has animatronics and stuff inside it. There's no actors in it this year, and it was cool. I mean, I listened to a lot of people still say that they wanted people in there, but it was cool. Maybe they should have at least one person in there at some point. That's my only critique about it, I guess. But other than that, it was a fun attraction. We saw Maddie's Dogs. They had, the food cart that that comes in there. I had bowl of brains, which was mac and cheese, and then you could choose a meat, whatever. And I had chicken, and I also had some hot apple cider, and it was amazing. It was great. They have a merch booth, like a merch building now instead of just like tables. Like it's really nice setup. And then they had some cool Christmas ornament, horror Christmas ornaments, pillows, t-shirts, hoodies, some masks, some other stuff. And it was cool to see. And I can't wait to see them expand on it and add more variety of stuff. But they had posters and stuff, and what they did a great job with it. I loved it. Now, If you didn't go to 13th World FRIGHT Park this year, and you remember from last year, things have changed in the trail. More detail was added. Like when you first go in, and then they have the motel you go through, and you go through the door, and then they updated the quality. They updated the look of it. You know what I mean? Because like before, it was just kind of looked like what do you call it? Some plywood, and they put a bed and some stuff. Now it looks like an actual room, and they got that down. And then I loved after you got out of the hotel before you went into the main trail, they had that like garden area, and I thought that was cool. There was some cool gags and tricks and stuff, and I hope they keep that for years to come. I always liked those garden scenes, whatever you want to call them. Because if they're done right, they work. And they did it right, and it worked. Plus, the actors in there were, like, giving it all. Now, before I continue any further getting into the trail, just so you know, why is it extreme instead of, like, a regular night? Because they have Touch of Fear you can purchase extra for, like, $5 with a glow necklace, and you can get touched. So what's the difference between XSCREAM and a regular night? Because the following night, they had a blackout, which is lights out, and you're going to deal with everybody in the dark. So XSCREAM, they could swear at you. It was an 18-plus event. Actors had to be 18 or older to work. They couldn't be little kids. And it was cool that I got to, see all the people that I work with that was still there. It was cool to see, and it was awesome. And I love seeing everybody, and it was just great chit-chatting and catching up and everything. But anyway, so now we go on to the main trail. If you remember the schoolhouse, it was themed to Freddy Krueger. Now it's themed to Stranger Things. And they changed the schoolroom area and everything, and it was cool. I don't want to ruin it for you. I want you guys to enjoy it. But the upgrade to it was better than what it was. I mean, before it was what it was, but now it's better. And I know they're just going to keep adding more detail to everything, and that's what's going to put them over the top. That's one thing. And I know it's tough. See, the Fright Park, they own that land, so they can just keep building all year long. Even in the wintertime, they can build inside and then put things up when they need to, so on and so forth. With 13 World Cumberland has to be, they get a month to build and then they get a week or two to rip it down. So the build quality and detail is, leaps and bounds different between the two places. So with the Fright Park, and then now when you go to the church, they've added some stuff. And I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to ruin it. So when you guys go through next year, but the additions that they did to the church, like the facade of the church, they changed it up a little bit, did a great job. Even all the actors along the way, even in the school, were doing great. They was, I seen some of the ones that were working last year, and I know who they were, and they were stepping it up even more than they did last year. So that was good to see. Then after that, you go to the clowns. The clowns were crazy, but here's my critique. Now, Tickle Time Creamy was the brainchild that I created back in 2001. And we did that in Cumberland, and then it moved over to Palmer. Now, I think here's my... Because we had trouble with it last year. It was cool and everything. But I think it's time to kill the Tickle Time Creamy. Not because of me or anything. I just think it's time to move on to something different. I got a million ideas I can throw at everybody if they needed some suggestions. But regardless of that, I know Chance and his girlfriend, fiance... I want to say her name's like Amanda Mary or something like that. I could have it totally wrong, and if I did, I apologize. They were doing a great job in there. They really were. They were killing it. I love the costumes, especially Chance's clown costume was really cool. And even the stuff that she was doing was really cool. But John and Jeremy were in there. Little Brian was in there. And everybody was just causing... The Psycho Twins were in there. They were causing chaos, and it was crazy, and it was awesome. That back room was always like couldn't, you know what I mean? Like, my biggest critique is really about the clowns, and I think it's time to come and bring a new element using the same buildings and just redecorate it, redo it, and make it awesome. There's a lot of things they can do to make it really awesome. You can make it a fun house. You could, the clowns and ice cream thing, everybody's doing it now. Now it's time to move on to the next, so everybody else can copy again what the next thing is. But there's a lot of things that can be done, and I can't wait to see what they do. But I think it's time to change out. I mean, they can use that name forever. I don't care. I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying it's time to go in a different direction. They technically the Tickle Time Creamery has been done for 3 years in a row. Do we really need a fourth? Probably not. I think it's time to... I mean, this was the second season of it. I think it's time to move on. I couldn't get it good in Palmer. And, it's cool what they got in there. I'm not knocking them for it. It's just... I just feel it's the weakest link. To be one of the weakest links, I would say. That's the only bad. I mean, the actors did a great job. Everybody was doing great in there. I just think it's just time to move on to it. But they did take the Tickle Time sign off the roof, put it on the ground with a light on it, because we had a hard time last year getting people to notice what it was. And what they did this year, it was good. I feel before you get into it, needs to be more stuff into it. Like, I had put a bunch of stuff, and it just seems like, over time, stuff deteriorates, isn't as good condition, falling apart. It just seems like some of the stuff that I had put in there got taken out, and that's fine. That's their haunt. They do what they want. It just seems like it's lacking in the woods leading up to it, and the clown just needs to be rethemed to something different, clowny. And like I said, a million things. Anyway, so when you get out of the clowns and then you had the Swamp House. Well, they added some other little buildings ahead of it, and the dude that was out there, he was funny, and he played along fine with everything. And inside, they added something inside the Swamp House. I don't want to ruin it, but it was cool. But I would still prefer an actor in there. I think it would be better, but it is what it is. And then you go to Slaughterhouse. I've always loved the Slaughterhouse. I always thought what they did was cool. And they made these like 2 wooden towers on the outside that weren't there. And I thought that was really cool. Nice touch. But yeah, everybody inside the Slaughterhouse was doing great. And I loved it. I still love what they did in there. Then after that, you walk a little bit. Now you're in a gas station instead of going right into RV. You got Dirty Phil, and I forgot the other guy's name, but them two in there in that gas station was hysterical. I can't wait to see what they do next year with that. Like just the addition of some stuff. They did a great job, and I was cracking up, and I thought it was hilarious. Them two guys in there are a great team, and hopefully that continues. Then you go into the RV park. They upgraded that. They made it bigger. Now there's ramps going in and out of RVs and stuff, and it was cool. I loved it. I went through it twice. So I went through with the necklace and then without a necklace. And with the necklace, it was crazy with the chainsaw guys. And then they were still trying to do whatever without the necklace, because they're not supposed to technically touch you. I mean, they know me, so I always tell them, if you feel like you want to, run me through the ringer without it, I'm okay with it. I don't know what don't break the rules and don't get in trouble kind of thing, like if the haunt's like, no, then don't do it, but if they're okay with it, I'm okay with it, and I can take a beating, and they did a great job again. Now, if you remember from last year, after that, they had Michael Myers' house, and that was kind of like last year's weakest link, so they ripped all that down, and they rebuilt, and they made an asylum, and the asylum in there is crazy. I mean, it really looks like an asylum. It still has Michael Myers there, but the asylum was great. There was one actress that was throwing a baby off the fence, the area she was in. She was great. I love, if you got the touch necklace, they'll bump you and there's another door. And then they'll separate you from the other people. And I love stuff like that. I love being separated. I love being messed with. I love when they're like, yo, tell your crew to keep going and we're keeping you for a while, and they just mess with you. So they did great. So overall, it's a huge improvement over last year. They did a hell of a job. I can't wait to see what they do next year. It was worth every time, penny, moment of going through. And you guys did a great job. I'm gonna give you guys the 5 out of 5. You guys roughed me up when I had the necklace on. You guys still put on a show when I didn't have the necklace on. And the actors, look. Obviously, Cumberland has the veteran actors, right? Those people have been working there for years, right? Now you got this new crew. And these guys are slowly starting to build up and starting to get where they need to be. And that's what I like. You know what I mean? You got to, any other horn owner watching this, always keep evolving. Do not keep the same thing every year. I know you don't have universal money to keep changing it every year. But once you build it, then at least, if you have separate houses, after year 2, now start changing them out. Take your weakest house and blah, blah, blah. Now, if you got a trail, now you got year 2 under the books. They did a great job, and it was great. So now, here's my critique. What I would do for next year is redo the clowns. That's my honest opinion. Whatever it is you're going to do, just do it and make it amazing and fun and chaotic, as clowns do. Do that. And then the next year, take your next weakest and change it. You know what I mean? You don't want the same thing over and over because it gets stale. People stop coming. They get, I hear about all these great haunts, and I've been to, and even me, I have issues with the same sets over and over. I'm not saying you got to change them all out every year, but change one a year, maybe 2, depending upon the money you make. You know what I mean? Or maybe you know what? Year 5, we're redoing every set. We're going to do something all new. I don't know. Whatever the ideas come up with. You guys have been doing a great job with that, so just continue that and just keep doing what you do. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. You guys got a 5 out of 5. You guys are improving, doing amazing things. You're not just laying on the sword and just going, they'll come. Nah, you keep improving and doing that, and that's what I love about haunted attractions that do that. So just keep doing that, and I'm going to get out of here. And until next, everybody, stay spooky, y'all. Peace.